I have a question.
Yes,
Can you talk about grounding? Grounding?
about grounding.
Yes, please.
Uh, I mean, look, uh, is there something wrong with your video, or
I don't know.
because I can't see you, I just see your name. Okay,
Okay. Oh, I see. I
okay,
don't know why.
okay. All right.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. I mean, it doesn't. Don't worry about it. Okay. The subject of grounding is a very good one. I mean, because it really is at the base of everything my teacher taught me that I teach. I mean, look, everything in the world is grounded. Every plant, every tree, has roots. Roots, receive the nourishment from the soil that allows the plant, the tree, to grow. Uh, it seems like the only creatures alive that don't really have grounding are human beings, mostly because they spend all their time in their heads. And, there's all this, rattle that goes on in the head that knows right from wrong and good from bad and what's better and what's worse. And there's so much tension and there's so much insecurity that's involved with all of that people forget that in order to grow in this life, you really have to get grounded. And it's why the first step in the meditation I teach is bring the focal point of your attention to the chakra right below the navel, the core, the very core of your being. And if you develop the core of your being by keeping your attention focused there, bringing that energy there, it will begin to develop internal roots. It will begin to ground you. It'll give you harmony, balance, foundation. What the Japanese and the Chinese they call chi, which is real power inside a human being, the power to let the tree of life truly grow. And without that kind of power, I mean, it's winter all the time inside people. Nothing can grow. Nothing can really grow. The intellect can grow, the ego can grow, bringing with it a great deal of tension and problems and anxiety that filters right through the population of the world. But the real spiritual, you know, development of a human being needs roots. It really, these roots are the tree of life. It's a very sacred expression, the tree of life. It's in Islam, it's in Judaism, it's in Christianity, the tree of life. It's grounded right at the core of a human being. That core is right below the navel in the third chakra. And the mind is the most powerful instrument we have. And it also is something that's making everybody crazy. But if we can train the mind and the power of the mind and the energy of the mind to stay centered at the core of our being in the third chakra and use that energy to develop that foundation inside us, and then the heart can open. One of the reasons people's hearts stay closed is that there's no grounding in them. There's no support for the heart chakra to stay open. So the heart chakra, gets a little emotional. It opens, it closes, it opens, it closes. It's just kind of like a Ferris wheel or a roller coaster ride at a carnival. And it needs grounding. It needs the mind to be quiet. It needs the capacity to draw energy through the sexual chakra so that we can utilize that sexual energy to activate Kundalini and to truly provide for us a spiritual life. None of this is possible if a human being isn't grounded. You need enormous amount of internal strength to do these things, just to keep the mind quiet, you need an enormous amount of internal strength. Just to keep the emotions from becoming swampland, you need an enormous amount of inner strength. Just to channel energy through the sexual area to the base of the spine. All of these things are really powerful experiences. And if you're not rooted inside, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. You know, the mind will go on like a birdcage full of canaries. You know, the heart will be endlessly full of emotion and guilt and fear and insecurity and et cetera, et cetera. You know, and sexual energy, you know, drives half the human race crazy. We need to be grounded in order to quiet the internal chaos. The grounding is at the core of a human being, that chakra. And it's in, you know, look, if, you know, when a person, a dancer, for instance, when they truly are dancing at the highest level of their ability, they're not thinking about it. They're not even emotional about it. They're in the core of their being. They have found that internal strength and balance that allows that creativity to truly expand. It's the same way with music. You know, intellectual music doesn't really go anywhere, you know? But when somebody is grounded inside and that energy comes from the tree of life, it creates beautiful music. Painting is the same thing. Life is the same thing. Greatest work of art is not a work of on canvas, it's life. Life is the greatest work of art. And each and every one of us creates the life that we see around us. If we're grounded inside, heart can be open. We can interact with life with compassion, with love. The mind is quiet. We receive knowledge and wisdom from the cosmos. We begin to see how to choose in life. You know, what's an illusion and what's reality. All of this is based on being grounded inside, because then everything else functions consciously. And yet, you know, to find three people in a city like New York where there's 8 million people grounded would be, it's almost an impossibility. People have huge egos that they chop their way, they forage their way through life, you know, slicing here and there with their egos. That gives them some kind of financial success or political success. But real grounding, functioning from a place inside that the heart can stay open, the mind can stay quiet, it's true wisdom, it's true knowledge. You know, find three people like that in New York, Washington, D.C. It's like a miracle. And that's all this meditation is about, building that kind of internal life. Because each of us, you know, we have different realities, and each of us has to deal with our reality. And it's very hard to deal with the reality you project. You know, whatever it is you see around you is a projection of your inner life. The inner life gets quiet and serene and peaceful and loving, and you know, there's wisdom in the whole external world. You see the world that, not even that the external world changes, it's still crazy, you know, but you see it differently and you can interact with it differently. And you bring a whole different quality to it because your inner life is changed. There's more compassion, there's more love. We listen to people instead of knowing better than them. We need to be grounded. A tree needs to be grounded. Well, a tree with weak, I wrote this in my book, Navigating the River of Time. A tree with weak roots, the first storm that comes along just blows it away. Trees with strong roots, They can bend like a rainbow, but they're not gonna get blown away. The roots keep them planted there. And people have so the roots are so eaten away in people that any little drama, any little soap opera that takes place in their life becomes a nightmare. If you're ground, you can deal with all the bullshit in the world, people's craziness, people's insecurity. You can deal with it. Doesn't throw you off base.
Yes.
Yes. Hello? So it's why when somebody comes to do this meditation, the first thing that they're shown, bring the focal point of your attention to the chakra right below the knee. It's the first thing. It's the first thing that my teacher ever taught me. Bring the focal point of your attention to the chakra below the knee. The mind is a really strong instrument. And if you learn how to use it consciously, it will help to build the tree of life inside you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Try to fix your computer because I'd love to see you.
Yes. Well, maybe. I don't know why.
Well, if you know somebody 15 years old, just ask them. They'll tell you in 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? Okay, if there are no questions, no more questions, there will be meditation on Sunday. Thank you. I always say, God bless you, and thank you, all of you, for being here, being part of my life. Wish I could just hug everybody, That's the only thing that's missing in this Zoom stuff. People used to get hugged after class. We'd have dinners together. We'd have, it was incredible, and I miss that. And first I go look at a place this afternoon. Maybe I can find a place where I can start doing that again. It would be really terrific.
Yeah.
So God bless you all. Thank you. Thank you from 4 different continents. And I'm looking forward to seeing everybody, on Sunday. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.